Chris Jericho lost his Ring of Honor World Championship to Claudio Castagnoli at Ring of Honor Final Battle, and the Ocho wants his championship back, so he decided to have a tune-up match on Dynamite against some no-name jobber, and he wanted to see if this guy could even last 2 minutes in the ring with him, but he lasted more than just 2 minutes. The crowd was invested in this guy, and after those 2 minutes they realized, hey yo, he might have a shot at this. The kid got the 1, 2, 3 over Chris Jericho, and the crowd ate it up. Jobbers don't have jobs, and this man literally got a contract right after beating one of the greatest of all time. And that's who we're going to talk about today. Who is Action Andretti? Before we talk about Action, I want to talk about something just as cool. Water. This is the coldest water bottle. You can get one in the link down below using my code, of course. You must. And the coldest doesn't just have water bottles, but an array of different things, including dog bowls and an assortment of bedding. If you fill this boy up, it will stay frigid, cold, and maybe one day you can hydrate yourself and train hard enough that one day you could beat Chris Jericho too. Or you don't. Action made his wrestling debut in late 2019 at the same place he had trained to become a star, MCW Pro Wrestling out in Maryland. When I say out in Maryland, I mean like an hour from my house. I'm in DC. MCW has shown that independent makes stars. They've had men and women, wrestlers to referees, all go up and down the ranks of professional wrestling from WWE, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor. Fill in the blank company, there's probably been someone from MCW that's shown up in that brand. As of speaking right now, today, Action Andretti signed to AEW. Ashante the Adonis, he's on SmackDown. And Leo Rush just won a Super Junior League tag tournament, and he's gonna be competing at Wrestle Kingdom. A Philly native that make his way to the Baltimore area and Joplin, Maryland to train every single Tuesday and Thursday. I went to those trainings before. They're hard as hell. COVID happens, and that kind of puts a halt on your career, brother. Clearly not for this guy though, because as soon as wrestling events are starting to take place again, man started popping up in every promotion. Obviously MCW, PPW out in Pennsylvania, SWO, CZW. He's even appeared on Game Changer Wrestling, GCW. And the guy's been in the ring some pretty well-known names. Matt Sydal, Tony Deppen, Jordan Oliver, Rich Swann, Zachary Wentz, Fuego del Sol. A man who also got famous off of being a jobber at one point, James Ellsworth, who as of recently, he won the MCW Heavyweight Championship, a title that's been held by a lot of really well-known wrestlers. Matt Hardy, Jerry the King Lawler. If you're from the area, the late great Bruiser was a legend. And it only goes to show that title does mean something. Because during this time, he was also appearing on AEW Dark, facing off against another great high flyer, Dante Martin, and the match that probably got him that contract in the first place, QT Marshall. Now that match happened on Dark Elevation in DC. I was up in the crowd cheering with the rest of them. The match was crazy. When you're from the area, you already know how good the guy is, but to see him do it on a big stage like that in a sports entertainment arena, and QT ain't no slouch. He really played up that heel character. This match was the meal ticket, brother, and it caught the eyes of someone that needed to see it the most, Chris Jericho. Here's a clip from Dave Meltzer actually talking about the fact that Chris Jericho watched the match and he was like, I'm gonna make this guy a star.
So the story behind this is that, I don't even know how many weeks ago this was, but you could probably look it up. Action Andretti had a match on one of the streaming shows, and Chris Jericho was watching the match, decided at that moment that this guy's gonna be a star. He was going to make him a star. And this is a ways back, and it was, he had all this stuff to do, Claudio feud, these other matches, and they actually at that point go, this is when we're going to be outdone with this. This match on this date, this was not something where it was decided like yesterday. This was weeks and weeks and weeks ago. It was the Andretti and QT match.
That's mind-boggling, and we finally got to those plans recently. When the boy put the whooping on Y2J, the same man that beat Rock and Austin, technically if he beat the guy that beat Rock and Austin, that means Action Andretti beat The Rock and Austin. Clearly Action isn't just a sight to see, but the star in the making. Because that win on Dynamite had to be our generation's version of 1, 2, 3 Kid beating Razor Ramon, or even Jericho himself beating Scott Hall. That was a star-making performance, and with Chris Jericho's help, I feel like this dude is bound to be an AEW star. Let me know, is this the first time you ever heard of Action Andretti? Who do you want to see him face now that he's officially signed with All Elite Wrestling? But make sure to like, comment, share, and always subscribe, and wrap.
We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. When it just like 1, 2, 3. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze.